So today's video is new ECU time. So as you've already seen in the title, this ECU is the new ECU we're going to be putting on the car. So this will enable us to run anti-lag, water injection, air injectors, any of the options that we want to run. It's all activated in the board already. I'm going to open both ECUs up, the level 8 and the P8. I'm going to show you the difference between the two and why we're changing over to this ECU as opposed to running the level 8 that was on the car. Right, so as you can see, I've just opened up both covers of both ECUs. So the left hand side, this one here, is the level 8 ECU. This ECU is found on the 4x4 Sierra Cosworths. They run a lambda sensor as well. These can run a NOx sensor. They're far superior to the level 6 ECU that's found on the 2-wheel drive Sierra Sapphire or the 3-door Cosworth. Now this is a P8 ECU. These are most commonly found on the Escort Cosworth. It has to be the large turbo Escort Cosworth because a small turbo Escort Cosworth runs a completely different management system. So as you already know, with the level 8 ECU that was on the car already, we're running wasted spark. But what has to happen to get the level 8 ECU to run a wasted spark is you have to fit this board. You can see this board here, then you have to fit this Pectel baby board. This is a Collins one. So once you've fitted these boards, you're basically tricking the ECU into be able to run a wasted spark system. With the P8 ECU from the large turbo Escort Cosworth, you can run wasted spark as just an option in the ECU. So you also have to fit this Pectel board you can see here. It's a Pectel board that allows you to run and unlock all the options in the ECU. You also have to unlock them in the chip as well inside the map. This ECU has already been modified, had the board fitted, and it's got a chip in here that enable us to run anti-lag, and that's one of the most important options we want. So it also allows us to be able to use a mapper that's a lot closer, that can do live data readings and also do a much better job with this ECU. This is a far superior ECU. It's like the daddy of all Cosworth ECUs. It goes level 1, level 6, level 8, and then P8 is the top Cosworth ECU. Then after that is standalone managements, but even a cheap standalone management doesn't compare to these old school ECUs. You would need to use a pretty expensive ECU to compare to these in comparison to like an M-Tron or a Cyvex. Right, so the bumper is all scuffed down now and ready to prime, so we're going to get some thick coats of high build primer over it to get this presentable. And then we're going to let that dry for 24 hours, give it a flat down, and then put over some diamond white over the top of it. So should improve the front end a lot. It's going to look a lot better with a 90 spec kit on it. So this is the new front seat that we've got, the bucket seat for the driver's side. We're going to just sit it in the car, take out the other seat and just see how it looks. So obviously the other seat's black at the minute, and we can't put it as a driver's side or passenger side because, you know, black seat, blue seat's going to look weird. So we're going to try that in the car, see if it goes with the blue cage. So this is the sheeting we've got that's going to sheet the back of the car. You can see it's already in white, so we don't even have to do anything with it. So nice lightweight material. It's like a foam board composite. If you wanted the stiffer material, you go with an aluminium composite, which is aluminium sheets either side. So while we sorted out the bumper, I've just pulled off the throttle body. We're going to be modifying this throttle body for anti-lag now. So basically what's got to happen is these two holes in here have got to be enlarged to allow air to bypass through to the idle valve, which ain't going to be an idle valve anymore. So that's going to be modded as well into like a top hat, which I will show you, so that the air can bypass the throttle body, as you can see, go straight into the idle valve, straight into the inlet, and supply enough air to allow the anti-lag to run. So you can see through here, just using a little mini burr to go in there for the first cut. That way I can get all that material out, and then I can smooth it over with some sanding and stone wheels. So we've gone through for the final cut now. You can see that's all the way through. Joint both holes together. Now the process is we've just got to go around that, smooth it all out as smooth as possible for the best airflow, and that's pretty much done. Right, so that's the last final pass of the sanding, all smoothed out now. So on the last pass I use like an 80 grit sanding wheel. You can see it gets it nice and smooth in there, so the airflow is going to be perfect in there now. So just going to give this a clean up now, a final buff, and we're job done. Get this back on the car. Right, so you can see now we've got maximum airflow through to the idle valve. We're going to mod this idle valve now. I'm going to show you why it's got to be modded and it turns it basically into a flap type instead of a progressive type. Allows a load of air to get in there, bypass, allows a lot of air for the turbo to spool up on idle. So something we also got, just to finish off the back, is a helmet hammock. So this is the same type that I've got in the back of my Astra, and it's just a nice design. You can see we just strapped that to the back, just makes it look a little bit better, and it stops things rolling around. You can just bang them in here. It ain't knocking around in the footwell, you know, and you've just got space to put your parts. Right, so next process is modifying this idle speed control valve. So we're going to change it from this stock Cosworth valve. So we've already started taking it apart. You can see the bits and that are coming out of it. And we've got to mod it so that we can fit what is known as a top hat design, which is this, which will slide up and down on the shaft. And basically this is either an on or off valve now. We never had this plugged in, we always had it set anyway, so it wasn't doing much. So now we can use this so that you can just bypass as maximum amount of air for the ALS. So what we've got to do now is just got to cut off just above there and take out this stud and then replace it with this machine top hat. So the bumper is painted. You can see it's come out all right. When it's flatted back, it looked really nice. Obviously it's not absolutely perfect, but it's got a little bit of orange peel on it. But as I say, this is a 2K paint and it's a solid paint. Just making sure we're getting the overspray off for inside the car. There was only a little bit that is bound to happen, just a bit of dust. So we've got a cargo net in the boot now as well. So you can see this is for the helmets. It's like helmet hammock, but you can use it to store anything. And it just stops things rolling around in the boot. And you can see the back of the car is looking good now. Look a lot more complete with the net in there. This is the same one I use on my Astras as well. Just tidies it up a little bit. Right, so what do you think of that? So the 90 spec bumper's on. I'm sorry I couldn't get loads of videos of me painting it and primering it, but I don't really think you need to see that. You just want to see the final product. We've been so busy with the car trying to get it ready for this show. Hopefully we make it. It's late, you can see. Car still needs a wash, and it should be going there tomorrow. Unfortunately, I can't get this video out to show you what show it's going to, but I'll get a few clips when it's at the show. So you can see the bumper's painted. We're gonna let it dry for about a week and then flat it down with some wet and dry paper and get it ultra smooth. So we've also put in some brand new strips into the bumper as well, and along the bottom. You can barely see that, but yeah, the bumper's looking great. The car looks great with this new bumper on it. What do you think now with the new bumpers? Unfortunately I couldn't give a proper unveil with it because we're in such a rush, but gonna get some good pictures of it tomorrow. Far better than that 88 spec bumper that was on it, and we're going to just stick on the 88 spec spoiler back on for now because we didn't get time to paint that. But it was the main focus was the bumper because it was nasty, had the crack in the bottom of it, and it was just letting the car down. So as I say, we're just going to put on this 88 spec rear spoiler on the back at the minute just for this show, and then we'll paint the rear 90 spec one, get that on. It'll be fully 90 spec'd up then. We just didn't get time. So here's a direct comparison between the two bumpers, and the reason that I was so desperate to get this bumper off. So you can see along the bottom there was a crack. It's been in there for a long time. The bumper is just chopped to pieces. It's actually going to just go in the bin. It's in terrible condition, and I've been letting the car down for a long time. So you can see how much fresher it's going to look now with that new bumper on there, all painted up compared to the 88 spec. So she's out with the 90 spec bumper on it, running absolutely mint. Just needs a quick clean. Just bring on some lights in the petrol station so you can see it a little bit better. I've got to put the front number plate on, obviously, got to stay legal. So the car is had a massive overhaul, as you know. So you can see how clean it is now inside. Got all the nets, the cage, everything in there, beautiful painted, everything looking fresh. So it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and the car is finally done, but it's never been washed yet. So still filthy. Still looks good though. We wanted to get it under some lighting, get a picture. This is perfect lighting. Got some floodlights going over the top, so you can see. Looks brilliant. 90 spec bumper. No number plate on the front. We're going to get a little number plate on it. So the lighting even shows up the cage and in the back of the car. Couldn't have asked for a better colour than the blue that we went with. Shows up far better than the black cage that was in it. Right, so I'm just going to start it up. It's on the stock idle valve at the minute. It's not on the Antilag idle valve, so it's not going to pop and bang nowhere near what it would if you had the Antilag idle valve on it. But the as you see, the throttle body has been ported out. So I'm just going to start it up and let you hear it. It's just going to chuck a couple of pops and that out the back, but when it's finished, it'll be chucking out like 4-foot flames on anti-lag, and you'll be able to hear it spooling on idle. Right, so I'm just going to quickly turn on the anti-lag just for a quick show. So you can hear straight away the tone changes. Give it a little rev. So you can see how mild it is at the minute with the turbos.